On this video, it shows you step by step on how to repaste, how to change the thermal pads and thickness, how to replace and clean the cooling fan. Hello guys, it's me again, Take the Screw Out. If you haven't subscribed on this channel, please consider subscribing and click the thumbs up icon and notification bell. Check the description below for the tools I use in this video, which is available to purchase in Amazon.com in United States and Amazon.co.uk in United Kingdom. Okay, the screw bits that I'm going to use is the Phillips screw FH1, and a electric screwdriver or wow stick. First, you have to unscrew 11 screw, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1 in the middle, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, I'm using this prying tool to open the back cover safely. This is made of plastic, so okay, I'll start here in the front area. Before you start taking off any hardware attached to the laptop, always make sure to detach the battery. So to detach this battery, this metal plates here, you have to push that on that direction, push it forward, away from you. That direction goes there, and then just use a tweezer to lift it up. Okay, so to remove the battery, you have to unscrew 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 screw. Okay, this is the model of the battery, just in case if you need to replace it. The Wi-Fi card is soldered in the motherboard, so you can't replace them. Only the one SSD is replaceable. So they're using M.2 PCI Express, same size with the normal size of Wi-Fi card. This is not a normal size, this is like a small one. Okay, so this is the So this is the SSD that came with the factory. It's 1 terabyte. And this is the form factor, which is small one. Can't remember what size this one. Same size with the Wi-Fi card, normal PCI Express Wi-Fi card. And then that's all the upgrade option on this laptop. Only the SSD, you can replace the battery, and there's no other additional SSD that you can install. The Wi-Fi card is soldered in the motherboard. The RAM is soldered in the motherboard as well, this one here. To remove the fan and the heatsink for the CPU and GPU, you have to unscrew 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 screw to remove the CPU, GPU and 2 cooling fan. Okay, so that's the 14 screw. Before you lift up the heatsink, make sure you have to detach the wire that is attached for the fan. This one here and this one here. So we have to remove the tape, but before you remove this, make sure you have to be careful because this is very delicate. They use a very tiny cable for the fan connector, and the connector itself is very small, so pay attention with that. Be careful. I normally use this one. This is very handy to remove the fan connector. It's safe to use this one because it could grab this area here, it could grab the plastic connector safely. So I do like this, and then pull it out to that direction slowly. See, it's nice and easy. It's safe, the wire is safe. But this one I struggle to use this one because the heatsink, so I'm gonna use a tweezer instead. I'm gonna use a small tweezer, this one. Ooh. See? It's nice and easy with complete tools. Always use a complete tools to prevent damage of your component. Okay, so now you can slowly lift up the heatsink. Slow, nice and slow. There you go. And the fan. So now this is the heatsink. This is for the ASUS is using a liquid metal for the CPU and just a normal thermal paste for the GPU, and also all the chips that like the VRAM and the other chips around it. They use, like, instead of thermal pads, they use a thick thermal paste. So what I'm going to do is I will use a thermal paste for the GPU and same thermal paste for the VRAM and the smaller chips. And for the CPU, I'm going to use a liquid metal. So I'm gonna show you how to apply a liquid metal. So the liquid metal that I'm going to use is Thermalright Silver King, which is, I put the link in the description below for the Amazon link. This is way cheaper compared to the famous brand. I forgot the name. So that's it. There's no other option aside from the replacing the battery, one M.2 SSD, the small one. Okay, to clean the heatsink and the fan, I normally use the X-Power air blower, which is really good for blowing the fan and all the dust in the, but in this case this is not very dirty. It's not dirty, so I'm gonna use only the brush to clean the fan and the motherboard, and then I will use a 99.9% isopropyl alcohol to clean all the residue of the thermal paste. So when dealing with liquid metal, always be careful. To clean the liquid metal, I normally use just a microfiber cloth, but be careful dealing with this thing. When cleaning with liquid metal, make sure it will not gonna go to the circuit board, because this is very conductive. It could go short circuit. Okay, be careful. The liquid metal stick in the microfiber cloth, but make sure it will not gonna drop to the motherboard. If it does, you just brush it, clean it properly, blow it with the air blower before you have to put it back together and put the battery back. Otherwise it could short circuit. So pay attention. Wet the cloth, microfiber, so that the liquid metal will stick to it, to the cloth. See? It's in there. Okay, I have a tip. If you use a liquid metal for the CPU, or let's say a GPU, make sure the heatsink is not copper, because if you use a liquid metal for the CPU or the GPU and the heatsink is a copper, it's not good. It will corrode the copper, and the aluminum is not good for copper and aluminum. I've tried that one to put a liquid metal on the copper, but it will not gonna stick in the copper, so it will just move around. It slide. So don't use it with the copper heatsink or aluminum heatsink. This particular laptop, the heatsink for the CPU is a metal. It's not copper, so it's different kind of. They put another plates. There's a copper underneath. This black thing is a pure copper, but they put another layer, a metal, so that it can be safe to use for the liquid metal. And by the way, because they use a liquid metal, ASUS put already like a protective tape around the CPU die, so that if just in case the liquid metal make a mess and goes here over the die, it will not gonna be short circuit of the other parts of the CPU. So if your CPU to the desktop computer, if doesn't have any protective sheets like this, I can recommend you instead to use a insulation tape or electrical tape like this one. So you have to do like this and put it around the CPU die, and then you just cut it off just to cover the small circuit here. So make sure you use an electrical tape, non-electrical conductive tape. So I already cleaned the fan with the air blower, the X Power 500 watt. The result is so clean, all the dust is gone. So the thermal paste I'm going to use for the VRAM and the smaller chips is Arctic MX4 and the SYY thermal paste. And for the liquid metal is Thermalright Silver King. So I'll just put the description below. By the way, if you don't want to use a thermal paste for the VRAM and the small chips, you can use like thinner than 1mm, something like 0.5 or 0.75mm thermal pads. And also with the thermal paste, I have a recommendation to use also the Noctua NTH2 thermal paste. It is a good performer, it's a good quality. So now I'm going to apply the liquid metal. So when applying with the liquid metal, you have to put only very small amount in the center of the die, just like 1 drop. So what you're going to do, you have to apply liquid metal on the die itself and also on the heatsink plate. So you have to apply both. So you're going to use the one that we came with it. This like spreader. The way I spread the liquid metal, I will just tap it like this, slowly. Slow, nice and slow. But be careful not to overfill, not too much on the side. And then the heatsink as well. I have to Right, it looks good to me now. Okay, it's time to put it back together. So I have to put it back first, the SSD. Screw it in. And then put it back the thermal pads for the SSD. The thermal pads for the SSD is about 2mm, 2 to 2.5mm. And then put it back the heatsink. Oh, I think I missed something. I missed one of the, so I missed these 2 small chips. Okay, so put it back together. Come on, type. You stay put. Okay, make sure the screw is aligned properly before you have to drop it. Okay, the most important thing is to screw for the CPU and GPU alignment. That's it. I'm going to screw in first the one with the liquid metal. So when you screw it in, like like the normal way. You have to screw it in a crisscross pattern. This one. Then screw in the fan. Then you check the alignment. It looks good. And then attach the connector of the fan. Push it in gently, be careful. Just nice and gently. Then stick the tape back. And then the other fan connector is so tiny. So push it in gently. And then put it back the battery. Make sure to check the speaker it sits properly, because there's no screw on the speaker, it just came off easily. So make sure to check. Okay, looks okay. This one is for the connector for the LCD screen. To take this off, just pull it upwards. So, okay, battery. So the battery on this laptop is 62 watt-hour battery. So you have to screw it in first before you attach the lid. And then attach back the battery. Push it in and then lock the metal plates. So everything's connected now. Check, you have to check individually all the connection if it is properly connected. Wi-Fi, the left fan, the right fan, the SSD battery is okay, keyboard, yeah, they are all connected. So it's time to put it back the cover. So you have to, before you put it back the cover, make sure you have to brush all the dust. Put this one aside. So put it back the cover. So when put it back the cover, you have to attach first the one in the front end, and then slowly tap it and push it in from side to side like so, and then going upwards, and make sure it clicks so that it will not gonna break when you screw it in. So it sits properly now. Okay, so the first screw I'm going to do is the one on the center. And then at the top. So make sure don't over tighten the screw, because this one is a metal plate, but underneath screw holes is the plastic, so that could easily break if you over tighten it. Just snug fit. Okay, that's the end of the video. If you find this video helpful, please consider subscribing and share the video. Thank you so much.